Well, hello everyone. It's very nice to meet you and to see you here. So before we start, we have 2 or 3 minutes. So can you please give me some plus signs if you can see me well and you can hear me well? Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. The feedback is very important, really, because I can see only myself and I can't hear you. I can't see you. But thank you so much. It's very appreciated. Right. Okay. So we have 1 minute more. So we are waiting for the rest to join us. I'm sure we'll have very remarkable webinar today. Okay. Okay. So 5 p.m. Moscow time. Let's get started. So hi everyone. Welcome to Softline Webinars. Well, Asian markets proved to be a great interest for lots of big brands and businesses all over the world and on global scale. So Softline operates at Asian markets as well and have a number of successful stories in B2B sector and hence in B2C sector as well. And today we are hosting Andy Lee, one of the remarkable e-commerce specialists, guru I should say, in Southeast Asia. And he was kind enough to share with us some life hacks, how to enter this prospective market and how to make it successfully. So now I'm giving the floor to our presenter, Andy Lee. Hold on for a second. I'll just give them the control panel, okay? Right. Okay. Yes. So Andy, do you hear me?
Hi guys.
Right.
Finally,
Good.
as you guys can see me, I'm in my studio. So sharing this with you guys. So if okay, can I start already? Yes.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I hope you guys can see the presentation, the PPT. What I'm going to share today is what you need to know to succeed in Southeast Asia. Okay. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Andy. I'm a consultant, and trainer, and a seller. I represent Ecom Universe. Ecom Universe is actually a training school which combine of all the training schools in Southeast Asia of all my companies combined together. We are called the Ecom Universe. So I started e-commerce business 9 years ago. Started with very basic dropshipping. During that time, dropshipping was so easy. Things were so good. And I started with about 39 part-time staff. People working from home helping me and etc. And of course, after that, of course, today I'm an eBay top-rated power seller. It has already been about 6 years. And I'm also an Amazon consultant and seller for US, Australia, UK, and Japan. I'm actually only in 4 countries, okay, for Amazon. And I help 8 brands in the above mentioned market, okay. And of course, I have business partners with top sellers in Qoo10, Lazada, Shopee in Southeast Asia. So I do actually know about the Southeast Asian market quite okay. So I launched my training and consultancy company in 7 years ago. So we are now specialized in Amazon, eBay, Lazada, Shopee, Tokopedia training. And my training school now is in 9 Asia countries. Our markets are Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Cambodia, and Vietnam. As a matter of fact, Vietnam and Cambodia is our new market. We have started the company, but just that because of COVID-19, we are not 100% in yet. So I think it's a matter of time we'll be there. And of course, I reached more than 4,500 students with 200 trainers worldwide. Okay. We are actually so-called the biggest e-commerce training company now in Southeast Asia. So Southeast Asia is composed of 11 countries. Just in case you don't know, because a lot of people think that like for example, Hong Kong or Taiwan is in Southeast Asia. Actually, they are not. Southeast Asia consists of these 11 countries. Okay, of course, I'm from Singapore. I'm a Singaporean, so I'm from Southeast Asia. So let's talk about the population first before I tell you guys more about all these things. Okay. Just give me a moment, guys. Close the door of the kitchen, please. Yeah. So in terms of population, right? Southeast Asia, Indonesia is the biggest of all the countries, followed by Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Myanmar, etc. As you can see, like the country I stay in Singapore, we are only about 5.8 million in terms of population. Okay, and I want to talk to you guys also about the value of e-commerce market. Okay, in Southeast Asia from 2015 to 2020 and a forecast for 2025. You can see from 2015 to 2020 in a short 5 years, it has grown from 5 billion to about 62 billion, right? But the forecast in the next 5 years, okay, is projected at 172 billion. And these are all in US dollar. And if you look at the e-commerce market, okay, in terms of retail e-commerce, that means we are not talking about e-commerce in terms of purchasing of air ticket, or whatever. But in terms of shopping, in terms of retail e-commerce, from 2019 to 2020, right, and then to 2025. But in terms of country, look at that in terms of billions US dollar. Indonesia is really crazy in terms of the volume, okay, because of the large population and because of many factors, which I'm going to share with you in a short while. Okay, so now I'm going to break down in terms of the countries, okay, of these 6 countries, who are the top e-commerce platforms now. Okay, let's talk about Singapore first. Okay, it's my home country. Shopee is number 1, followed by Lazada, Amazon, Qoo10, and then EasyBuy, and then etc. So if you look at this picture now, right? Qoo10, which is now number 4, used to be number 1 in Singapore. Okay, and that was when Shopee and Lazada came in. They did very aggressive marketing and everything. And because of some things that Qoo10 doesn't want to change, which later I will share with you guys also later on, causes Qoo10 to lose a lot of market share. Okay, and people who are in Singapore or in Southeast Asia, if you know, Qoo10 is actually previously Gmarket, and Gmarket is from Korea. Okay, and Qoo10 used to be very, very good in terms of pricing, in terms of the stuff and everything, but it just go down spirally. If you look at now Malaysia, okay, you realize that Shopee, Lazada is also on the top 2, okay, just like Singapore, right? So in Malaysia, Shopee, Lazada, top 2, okay, and then followed by some of the other companies. And then if you look at Thailand, same thing, Shopee and Lazada. Okay, I'm so sorry. I think there's a spelling mistake there. Okay, it should be Shopee, not Shopper. Okay, Shopee, then Lazada, and then rest of the countries. Sorry, the rest of the platforms. And if you look at Vietnam, same thing again. Shopee, Lazada, and then if you realize number 4 is actually Shein. Okay, it's pronounced Shein. And Shein is a very interesting platform now because they are now the number 1 downloaded app in the US. And Shein is actually a China company. Okay, and Shein is now so crazy, in terms of the sales and everything because of the influencers, TikTokers, and things like that. I will also predict that Shein will be in all the top 3 in the next 1 or 2 years in all the Southeast Asia market. Okay, so in Vietnam, Because this statistic, it was first quarter of 2021, I suspect by end of this year, Shein should be at least top 2 or top 3 in Vietnam. And you guys know what is Shein, you can actually go to their website. They sell a lot of clothes and everything, and also some household products. And we look at Philippines, Shopee, Lazada, same thing again, first 2, okay. And then for Indonesia, it's a bit different, okay. Indonesia, number 1 has always been Tokopedia, okay. Tokopedia and Bukalapak, okay, they used to be always the top 2. But after Shopee and Lazada goes in, okay, there was a change of the platform. And if you realize now, Tokopedia and Shopee, right, is actually very, very close, okay. And for people who are not in Southeast Asia, okay, if you're in the US, you know that, like for example, Uber is the biggest, the transport company, okay. So in Southeast Asia, we are always looking at Grab and also Gojek. These are the top 2, okay. But of course, Grab is bigger in terms of Southeast Asia market share compared to Gojek. But Gojek in Indonesia is the biggest, okay. So Gojek in Indonesia, they do logistic, they do car transportation, they do food delivery, etc. So as a matter of fact, Tokopedia and Gojek is actually talking to each other. There could be a merger, maybe, not sure. But I think if that is the case, then Tokopedia will have a very big boost in terms of becoming even stronger in terms of number 1. Okay. Oh, and then there was something very interesting I forgot to mention, and that is if you look at many of the big companies, like for example, even like AirAsia, which is an airline company, also took over, like for example, Gojek in Thailand. And you can see that there's actually a merge of a lot of companies merging together to form bigger entities. So if you look at the opportunities now in all the 5 countries that which I just showed you just now, which are in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and also Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, 6 countries, not 5. You realize that, Shopee, Lazada is always in the top 3 or top 4, right? It's always there. Okay, so what does it mean to us? Okay, so which I'm going to show you guys more now. Okay, first of all, right, what is the most important thing what is the main drivers in Southeast Asia? Why is it that we are our e-commerce sales are so good? It's because of something called the mobile e-commerce. Okay, that means people who use their handphone to do a purchase, whether is it buying air ticket, booking a hotel room, buying something online, okay, or even booking an attraction venue ticket, this is what we call mobile e-commerce. So in terms of mobile e-commerce, why is Southeast Asia so strong? Is because if you are in Southeast Asia, you understand that people in Southeast Asia change handphone like crazy. Okay, whenever there's a new handphone, they will change. Okay, so the percentage of people using a smartphone, okay, we're not talking about those Nokia phones or whatever, that only call for calling. But talking about smartphone, they can buy things online, with Wi-Fi and everything. The percentage is actually very, very high. And as a matter of fact, many people in Southeast Asia even actually own 2 handphones on average. Okay, so if that's the case, right, if you look at the mobile e-commerce, right, for the last that means people who do online purchase via mobile in the last month, okay, in the past month, okay, at least bought 1 or more online purchases. Okay, if you look at the percentage, right, Indonesia actually surpassed Indonesia surpassed China by a little bit. And if you look at number 3, it's actually Thailand, and number 5 is actually Vietnam. And because of the pandemic, it also fueled the e-commerce business by tremendously. It's quite crazy. So the combined value of B to C e-commerce in the 6 Southeast Asia, which I showed you just now, okay, is forecast almost triple from 19 billion in 2018 to 53 billion in 2023. And now to 2023 is not far, it's only about 2 years. Okay, and this is a new report, a few years back, and it's actually quite on track. And because of the fast digital payment network, okay, is actually growing to fuel the consumer needs, and that is why many banks hop in to do all the online financing. Okay, like for example, if we talk about Grab in Southeast Asia, they are not only doing food delivery or transportation, they also do money lending, okay, or even buying things on installment. So you can use their card, they have a Grab card, you can buy things online, and you can do it like a 24 months installment, something like that, and interest free. Okay, because they have too much money and now it's time they want to lend some money out to the consumers. So how do you want to succeed in Southeast Asia, right? Is you can optimize your Shopee and Lazada accounts, okay, and make sure you have a mobile marketing strategy in Southeast Asia. Okay, it is also recommended you have your own localized e-commerce store from Shopify, WordPress, or even Shopline. I'm not sure if you guys know about Shopline, but Shopline now is getting more and more popular. Shopline is quite similar to what Shopify is doing. Okay, and of course, I want you to focus on ads for long-term growth using Facebook ads and Google ads. Why is it important to succeed in Southeast Asia using Shopee and Lazada accounts? Okay, later on I will share with you guys more. Just give me a moment. I'll come to that. But I think the most important thing is, which I always emphasize to many of my students, is about Shopify or Shopline. The reason is because when you build your own e-commerce store, you're collecting database yourself. You are not sharing the database with Shopee or Lazada. Also, you have full control of the price. There's so many times that I don't need to fight a price war with other sellers because it's my own store. And if you do a good Facebook ads or Google ads, you bring traffic to your page, it is always buying on impulse. They will not go into so much about price comparison. Okay, and that is why I always do very good video ads. Video ads are very important. Okay, so these are all the tips that I can give you, okay, on how to succeed in Southeast Asia. Okay, and of course, if you want to do a faster way, you don't want to build your own local store, then Shopee and Lazada will be a very good idea for a good start for you. Okay, so during the pandemic, during like March to 2020 to this year, Facebook Live, TikTok created many influencers sellers online, and live selling now is a trend. Okay, which of course US is trying to pick up. Despite China has been a hugely success and a pioneer in this for many years. But US is trying to pick up, if you go to Amazon Live, you will see that, it's really not much people watching those live influencers talking. Okay, I've been a few, that there's not even like 200 or 300 people inside. It's not even that. But in Southeast Asia or even in China, the number of people going to live is actually quite huge. And the reason the fall of Q10 in Singapore was because they never changed. They are still very weak in live selling, poor interface design compared to Lazada and Shopee, and that makes them getting worse and getting worse. So selling in the US and Europe will get bigger and bigger. So does selling in China too, right? But you need to have a new door to a new market, which is Southeast Asia. It's a good opportunity because it's as good as Latin America. Okay, and as different countries have different rules and regulation or even languages, it's better you work with someone who have connections and resources in all of them to offer you a good assistant. One of the biggest thing that I always see, or so-called biggest problem that I always see is this. I work with a few good brands, big brands in US, okay, also in Taiwan. And whenever they want to go to the Southeast Asia market, they will actually work with different people. That means they work with people who are from Thailand, then they go into Thailand market. They work with people who are from Singapore, they go into Singapore market. They work with different people. And there seems to be a lack and loss of consistency in terms of branding, in terms of communication, in terms of design and marketing and etc. And it's actually very big headache. And whenever they come to us to help them to go into Southeast Asia, in the end, it is so difficult because you're getting information from everyone and different people say about different things. And people set different pricing and there was no consistency, which is actually quite bad. Okay, so if you want to go into Southeast Asian market, make sure you have good communication, good consistency, and it's better to work with someone who is Southeast Asia rather than working with people who are in Singapore, Thailand, separately, etc. Packaging is also another issue because it has to be localized. Like for example, if you're going to sell in Thailand, it has to be localized with Thai language, you know. And of course, the title, description, everything. There is no way you can use Google Translate to do it. Trust me, it will sound very funny, and you need local people who have local support to help you. And the best is you have someone who is in Southeast Asia to give you the support for all the countries. They have all the connections to help you with that, and that is the best way. Okay. And now I want to share with you the reason why Shopee and Lazada, okay, is good because they are in all the big Southeast Asia markets. Okay, they're all the top 3 or top 4, and it's very easy to go in together. Okay, but there is a trick that you need to understand. In order for you to go into Southeast Asia market in Lazada and Shopee, you can do it via 2 ways. Okay, and this is something very important that you all need to understand and need to know. Okay, the first method is you apply a local company, that means Singapore, Malaysia, whatever, and then use the local company to open a local Lazada account, a local Shopee account. Okay, that is the way to go if you want to do that. Okay, but it's very difficult, very troublesome. You know, with all these things, is very difficult and troublesome. But there is a shortcut that a lot of people doesn't know. Okay, is that it's going through the China road. Okay, which means you can actually go to China, open a China company, okay, online, and through the China company, you can go into Lazada, Shopee in all the Southeast Asia countries. Okay, and that is what they call the global mall. And you can do that. Okay, that will be the faster way. Okay, so this is my tips for you. Okay, so I want to show you what's next for the future. Okay, you know, what can live selling sell? Because I keep on focusing on live selling now because live selling is really the future. I mean, people sell seafood, okay, people sell properties, toys, clothes, electrical appliances online, live selling. And this will actually lead into Lazada or Shopee, which is in Southeast Asia, the platforms. It will actually integrate into a future way of buying things. That means buying things is no longer about search, find, buy, right? Like what Amazon sellers always do, right? Search, find, buy. But in live selling now is more about I'm watching a commercial, okay, an infomercial. Watch it, I see the thing, I like it. Out of impulse, I buy immediately, I make the payment immediately. That is a key. The future of Southeast Asia is bright, okay, but seller has to be prepared for, very well prepared for challenges, okay. So what I predict for the future is that legalization, trademark, copyright, patent issues will be something the local government will look into it because now it's a big mess, okay. I do not want to say which platforms, okay, but you should guess which platform I'm talking about because I do not want them to come and sue me later on. Go and take a look, okay? There is so much fake stuff inside. Fake jerseys, fake Rolex watches, fake branded stuff is all inside. Okay, which is something very dangerous because this is something that you will not see in Amazon. Okay, but the platforms in Southeast Asia, they have that. Okay, even fake softwares, they sell fake softwares inside as well. Okay, but I do not name the I don't want to name the platforms, but you should know who I'm talking about. And also individual sellers and e-commerce company who are selling in Lazada and Shopee in local platform already, you need to be very, very well prepared for all the taxing that your local government will tax you more and more. Okay, because of the pandemic, the government knows that you guys are making money. So make sure you pay your tax, make sure you have a very good account record. Also, lastly, I want to say is advertising will be the key factor in future. Okay, you know, as unlike Amazon, who has a strong PPC, ad ecosystem, Southeast Asia platform ad system are not strong. Okay, and usually you are only talking to the account managers doing deals. Those 24 hours deals, special promotion deals, and things like that. So in terms of PPC ranking, in terms of advertising, of course that is still there. Okay, but it's not as strong as an ecosystem like in Amazon. So advertising, you may need to really look into more and learn more about Google, about Facebook marketing in the future. Okay, and just to share with you something that I learned over the years, okay, is about Facebook marketing. Okay, just a quick one. Okay, if you have your own local Shopify store and everything, Facebook ads is very important, right? That's because that's the only way to pull traffic. And it's very important that you work with a good agency. Okay, I know that a lot of people say, no, it's okay, I'm small, I just do my own, I can do my own ads, I can learn from YouTube, whatever. Trust me, when I started working with agencies, right, my sales increased by at least about 100% full, at least. And the thing is this, working with agency is so good is because they always have good connection with Facebook. So if your Facebook ad account get banned, they get banned very, very easily. Okay. As a matter of fact, I even have a list of keywords not to be used for Facebook ads. Okay. But anyway, if you get banned, the agencies can usually help you very fast to connect to Facebook and get your accounts unbanned. Okay, and that is very good if you work with an agency. Okay, so that's it for me. So I also want to stress, coming back to our slides, I want to stress that it's important to have your own e-commerce store, especially cater to Southeast Asia taste. That means when I say the taste, means right, the language you use, the images, the graphics, and things like that. Okay. And of course, Shopify, WordPress, Shopline are good choices. Okay, and focusing on the ads in long term or long run will help you a lot. And of course, as I said, Facebook, Google Ads are the key advertising tools for that. Okay, so that's all for me. I hope I give you guys some tips about Southeast Asia. Can you guys know more about Southeast Asia? So, as you all know, that I have a lot of I have companies in Southeast Asia, and I work with all the local big sellers in Southeast Asia. And if you need help with Southeast Asia, you can contact me. These are my contact details. And that's all for me. I think I got time to open for questions. Am I right? I'm not sure. If I have time,
Yes.
Oh yes. Okay. So maybe
Andy, thank you so
yeah,
much for this charismatic session. I
no
really
problem.
enjoyed that. I hope that all our guests, all our attendees enjoyed this session as well. And I've already notified that they can type their questions, and
Yes.
there are a couple of them. First of all, I would like to, one of our attendees would like to ask you, can we open Shopee and Lazada accounts being based in Hong Kong?
For Hong Kong friends, the only way you can do is two ways, which I mentioned just now. You set up local companies in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Vietnam, then you sell in that local market only. Okay, so if you open a Vietnam company, you sell in Vietnam only. But for Hong Kong friends, you have an advantage because you can easily open a China company and go through the China global selling program. I can't remember the program name, but you can actually approach Shopee or Lazada. If you need help, you can let me know. I know them. I can give you the contact. You can contact them. As long as a company China legalized company, you can sell through that program.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Andy. And then there is another question: is do you happen to meet a buy now and pay later approach in B2C commerce?
Oh, okay. Yes. As a matter of fact, buy now and pay later. There's two terms of it. Buy now and pay later. It could be mean by in terms of credit. That means you pay by installment later on, and that is something very very popular in Southeast Asia, especially now in Singapore. They have all the credit terms. They give you like $3,000 that you can buy and then pay later on via installment. Okay. That is one way of call buy now and pay later. The other type is buy now and pay later means you pay on delivery. Okay, and that is something very common, I think, in Indonesia and also in Philippines. So people, once the package reach you, then you give them cash, something like that. But this is not very common in Malaysia and Singapore, if I'm not wrong. Okay, but Singapore definitely is not common. Okay, we like to pay first, then everything is solved, because Singapore is so small. But other countries like Philippines, Indonesia, they're very huge, they're very big. So this is very common there. Yeah, and there is this option there in Shopee and Lazada in the other countries, but not in Singapore.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. There is another question. Can we sell SW? I guess this is software in Shopee and Lazada.
Sorry, the question is, can we sell what?
Can we sell software in Shopee and Lazada?
Okay.
I guess I deciphered this abbreviation correctly. Software. Okay.
No problem. Software, yeah. Okay, for what I have seen, software is very popular in Shopee. Excuse me. Not so much in Lazada. And of course, when people sell software, usually there will be people who are selling fake software. As I do not want to say everybody is selling it, or am I saying that they do sell fake software? I'm just saying that there could be chances that people selling fake software. Okay, so yes, Shopee do sell. There are sellers who sell, and I assume they are real, but you can check with them. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All right, thank you. The next question is, what size of the company is suited to enter into Southeast Asia market? And how much marketing budget do you need to allocate initially as a minimum?
So what happened was when I first started my Shopify store, my first Shopify store in Singapore, I started with only 2,000 Sing dollar, which is about 1,300 to 1,400 USD, around there. I started with that, and of course that is only for marketing. I'm not talking about stock and shipping, etc. yet. And today, I feel that any company, any e-commerce business that you want to do, to start a new brand or a new product, you need easily about 2,000 USD at least of marketing to push it up to a level that it will be comfortable to sell by itself regularly every day to make a decent profit. So and until today, you may hear a lot of people telling you this, okay, but I do not believe it. That is, I spend $0 and my things sell very well. No marketing, nothing, I sell very well. Okay. Although it happens to me before in Amazon for a few products before, it happens to me, but it takes a lot of effort. If you do a product research very well, then it may happen. But in Southeast Asia, in Lazada and Shopee, we do have softwares also. So if you're an Amazon seller, you know that the softwares that we always use, in some softwares, which I don't know whether I can say the name out. There are some software that can use. So in Southeast Asia, we also have. Okay, but the interesting thing is this: those softwares were never from Indonesia. They were never from Singapore or Malaysia, which is so interesting. They are actually from China. And so you can see that China is very focused now also in Southeast Asia. They know that this is a new market for them and it's a growing market. And that's why they are investing their time to focus on this market. So that's my answer. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. There is a question, how do you handle logistics in Southeast Asia? And is there something like FBA? Not sure what it is, FBA. Dear guests, please don't use the abbreviations because I cannot, I'm not, I cannot just
No, but
decipher them.
because you're not Amazon seller, that's why. No, it's
Maybe you know what it, what does it mean? So
FBA means
hopefully you understand.
no,
Okay.
FBA means fulfillment by Amazon. So it's like a fulfillment service. So in Southeast Asia, they do, okay, they have this service, okay. That means you can actually fulfill by Lazada, fulfill by Shopee, but you need to have certain volume, then you'll be invited to this program, okay. And also, this program usually only exists for China sellers. That means for China companies, you want to sell in Lazada or Shopee. So basically what happened is you can actually you can do it in a few ways. You can send your item to a to the logistic team in Lazada and Shopee in China. Then they will send it to you to Vietnam, to Thailand, to Singapore, whatever. You can do it this way. Or you can also send large stock to the logistic team or to logistic warehouse for Lazada and Shopee in the local country like Singapore, Lazada, Thailand, Lazada, whatever. You can also do that. Okay.
Right.
But of course, in Southeast Asia, there is also a lot of third-party logistic. Okay, we call it 3PL. Okay, which is very common. So we do use 3PL as well. And of course, as I mentioned, I work with a few top sellers in Southeast Asia. So I actually use their service also. I mean, in terms of using their warehouse. So I work with them to sell. So we have the, I know them. If you need help, I can also recommend them to you as well. Okay. And then lastly, for the logistic, from China to send it to Singapore, to Malaysia, to Vietnam, we have the logistic also as well. Okay, so if you need any help, can let us know. But if you're talking about logistic from different countries, like for example, if your stock is in Indonesia to Singapore, Malaysia to Singapore, it's always very cheap. Okay, it's not expensive. But if we're talking about logistic from, let's say, Taiwan, okay, Hong Kong, okay, it's a bit higher compared to China going directly to Singapore or Indonesia or whatever. Okay, that's all.
All right, thank you. And what type of software is sold in Lazada?
What type of software? Okay, there's a lot of software that I've seen before. Microsoft Office, a lot of software that you will need to buy, and they will sell it at a very cheap price. Which obviously, when you see the very cheap price, you know whether are they real or fake. I've seen a lot of software before. Even I see people selling Netflix account. Okay, I saw before. Okay, but it doesn't mean it's still there. And I also never mentioned the platform. I just mentioned that I saw in the platforms before, but I didn't mention which platform. Okay, so you all can go and search. I even see people selling Disney Plus subscription, things like that. So you guys can do a search, okay? Yeah.
Right, okay. And how many products do you need in your e-commerce store? And what is the ideal unit price for those products?
First of all, you need to know what you want to do. Your suppliers, and are you your own factory, and things like that. If you're not your own factory, you're just buying stock for other people. That means you're just a retailer, or are you a drop shipper? Okay, but I'm not talking about drop shipping. I'm talking about, let's say you got own stock at home, your factory, your own stock. Then you need to understand that, do you want to make your store become a departmental store? That means you have a lot of staff, or you want to be focused, laser sharp on one product, or you can also choose a team. So I see stores with only 5 products, but they have a very good, strong team, and they can sell very well. But I also see shops with sell all types of stuff, 300-400 SKUs. Okay, so I assuming they are dropshipping. I'm not sure. Okay, so there's no perfect answer for you, but it's more of what do you want to achieve in your marketing campaign. Okay, do you want to let people feel that you sell everything, or do you want to let people know that you are a specialized store? Because in Lazada and Shopee, they have what we call the official stores. Like for example, like Microsoft, they have their official store inside there, you know, to sell their software and their laptops and things like that. So do you want to be a specialist or you want to be a generalist? It's really up to your marketing things. And of course, I will suggest if you are selling in Latin America already or in US already, it's good that you send a small quantity to test the market first, because you never know that the item is suitable for the local market. And of course, with a proper research using software to research the market will help you a lot as well.
Okay. Let's get back to the topic of the marketing budget. So there is a question about the amount. $2,000 monthly or yearly?
Monthly. It's not yearly. Doing a business you cannot think too small. But of course, you should start small, right? But $2,000, which is Singapore dollars, or let's talk about US dollars, shall we? Okay, let's say 1.3 K US dollar is. I think even that, I think minimum should be about 1K USD per month to do a proper business in e-commerce in terms of marketing. Anything less than that, I really cannot imagine. You know, you don't do your Facebook ads, you don't do Google ads, you don't do anything, or you do less than 1,000 USD. It's very difficult to do a proper business. This is what I feel. Yeah, so it's per month, the answer.
Okay, thank you so much. And one last but not least question from my side. So as a marketer, I can't miss the topic of live selling. And do you think it may be applied for B2B and software as a service products?
Okay, this is something very interesting. If you guys are into China live selling, okay, I'm not sure whether you guys know. Okay, China live selling is so crazy. Okay, I'll give you an example of this lady called Dong Mingzhu. Right? This lady, they sell air conditioner. Okay, air cons.
Mm-hmm.
And air cons, right? Who will buy during a live selling, right? Doesn't make sense, right? But during her 1 hour talk, during that live selling, just for within that 1 hour, right? Her sales is equivalent to at least 3 to 5 months of their retail sales. Can you imagine that? Just by live selling. But of course, with that type of volume, they need a lot of people to do their marketing at the back. That means people who expose them, who tell them, who get the viewership, get it excited, and things like that. Okay, it's not about something I just want to go live selling. I want to do it. I can do it. So if you want to sell anything that is B2B, okay, I'm not saying it's not possible, but think why is it not possible? Okay, and that's how you can achieve better in e-commerce. There is many things that I sell, which I feel interesting that I think it cannot be sold. Okay, but it's selling like crazy. And I have a good friend in China. He sell coal, C-O-A-L, coal. You know the black color thing, the coal, right? He basically put a coal in a Tiffany box. Of course, it's not the real Tiffany, but a box that look like Tiffany, the color and everything. He put it inside a box, put it with ribbon, and he's selling it in Amazon. You can go and search it. It's selling very well. Why? He's basically telling people that you can actually give this to your girlfriend and tell her that, you know, one day the coal will become a diamond. Okay, it's something for fun. But he sell basically coal, and it's from China. He's selling for so expensive. So don't limit yourself on thinking whether this thing can sell or cannot sell, but ask yourself, why can't it be sell? Why can't it be sold? And change your mindset, and I think it can be done. Okay. But of course, if you ask me for live selling, have I seen anybody selling B2B stuff? Yes, I do. I mean, even properties, I see before people selling industrial properties, not commercial, not resident property, commercial properties. I've seen people selling, those industrial cameras for shops and everything. I've seen before as well. So I believe it can be done, unless your things is really very, very, very unique, that only for specialized people, then maybe it may not work, but who knows? Yep. So that's it.
The limits only are in our minds, right? Everything can be sold and everything can be bought, right?
Yes.
Well, there is another question. How much does it cost to try live selling?
Oh, okay. Basically, to try live selling is free. I mean, you just have to apply for an account in Lazada or Shopee, and then you get approved. But the thing is, whether are you trained to do live selling? Live selling is not something that you say that you want to sell, you can sell. You need to go through classes or course to teach you how to sell. For example, during a 1 hour live selling, you need to know what to talk every 15 minutes. You need to have the script. You need to have a set of questions to ask people to engage them. You need to prepare freebies every, let's say, 30 minutes to get them engaged, and they will stay and listen to you and things like that. So there's a lot of steps and everything. And of course, I know there's a lot of trainers out there who train people to do live selling. But if you ask me whether is it free, yes, it's free. But it's whether can you succeed and can you do it properly. It's a different method. It's a different story.
All right, Andy, thank you so much for your patience, for all your extended answers to all the questions. So no questions so far appeared
Okay.
in the list. So thank you so much. I just addressed to all attendees that the recording will be available at our YouTube channel, Softline E-commerce, and please welcome. You will also have this recording right after your right after we end this very session. So thank you for everyone who has joined us and enjoyed this first session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andy, once again. That it was a pleasure to meet you and to listen to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.